Hi there, welcome back to this YouTube channel. My name is Julia, and in today's clip I'm actually gonna review the Shein beauty blenders, like dupes, because obviously they're not the actual real beauty blender because they're from Shein. I'm gonna review them and see if this little guy, which is not already like washed, I want to show you. That's why I still need to finish my eyes because I need to put some lashes, and that's pretty much it, I think. But yeah, I was like, before going to the bathroom and clean properly this little guy, I decided to just appear like this on the camera and then be all glammed up with my eyes and start off my face. So yeah, this is how it looks like before going through the wash. I'm very curious myself how much bigger it's going to get, but this is how it looks like. So yeah, without further ado, let's see how big this guy gets. Right, so I'm back with also my lashes on, and literally this is the state of the actual sponge. It's massive, like it's actually massive. I'm shocked. Like I thought it's gonna expand, but not to this point. So yeah, we are gonna start off by doing my face, and I'm actually gonna apply also the primer with it. Sometimes I do apply my primer with a sponge, so let's just do that. So I'm gonna use today the Ordinary Hyaluronic Silicone Primer. Right, and to give the sponge a fair shot, I'm actually gonna use some of my favorite foundation. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. I have two because I'm in between the shades, so I'm gonna combine them. But it is one of the few foundations that I actually really love. And let's see what this guy does to my face. So I've done half of my face with the sponge, and obviously half of it is my bare skin, and literally it actually distributed the foundation very nicely onto my skin. As you can see, it looks very flawless. I didn't had any situation where, I don't know, it felt like weird or something like that. I think one certain, I feel it kind of like absorbs a lot of the foundation compared to the one I have from Real Techniques that I actually had to throw it out. Like I have to, not quite sure if I did, but if I did not, I still have to throw that out because I have it for way too long. So yeah, I really think, for example, although it does absorb the foundation much more than the one from Real Techniques, it does not bother me. I'm a person who literally hates stiff sponges. I have friends, like, actually one that I've heard ever saying that she does not like the Real Technique sponge because it's too squishy. And I was like, wait, what? Like, that's the whole point. It has to be squishy. For me personally, the squishier the better, but obviously the squishier, sometimes it means it absorbs more the product, and this is much squishier than the one from Real Techniques. Wow, that's a lot of explaining going there, but you know, I'm trying to make sure people do understand the kind of like vibe I'm getting with this one. But seriously, the face looks flawless. It covered me properly, and I really like it. I feel like I'm just gonna start doing the second second part. But I feel like I prefer it that way, because if it would just apply way too much product, it would be much harder for me to blend it out. I don't know. Now I'm gonna jump into the concealer and see how I'm gonna manage to blend it out. By the way, I did forget to mention, you know, the Real Techniques has like a flat, like this is literally identical when it comes to the pictures, because I never tried the beauty blender, just saying. The Real Techniques one has like a slightly like, you know, straightforward part at the butt of the sponge. I never use that part, so if you're like myself and you own yourself a Real Technique sponge and never but ever use that part, same. And literally I'm not missing that part about the sponge, really. So given the fact that I already had my, you know, my eyeshadow on, including the underneath part, it was very easy to go into it, but obviously I was pressing like this to go in underneath it and not have any issues whatsoever So it works out very nicely for the underneath part as well. But because this video will be so boring if I will do only my face and my under eye, I'm actually gonna do my bronzer slash contour with concealer that is obviously 10 times darker than my skin tone. This is the Conceal and Define and Hydrate concealer from Revolution in C14, and I'm gonna see how I'm feeling about contouring, cream contouring with this sponge. I actually usually always, I would say, use a brush rather than the sponge, but let's see how it turns out. So I don't need more than this, like literally I'm like, oh, let's say not too much. I thought for a second it did break out my foundation, but it actually, we are good. So yeah, it actually works much nicer if you put on the back of your hand a bit and then take it with a sponge and distribute it, because here I have a dot, because obviously it's a concealer, so it has to a certain extent a lot of coverage. So yeah, but because obviously I think I put way too much and it's a harsh line, I'm going back in with my concealer just a teeny tiny bit on the back of my hand, so I can take very slightly and try to blend it into my skin. And not forgetting about the nose, I'm taking a teeny tiny bit on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna try to do it with a sponge. I actually never use a sponge, I actually use this brush. Okay, this time I did not go like too crazy with the product, and I feel I don't need to go back to blend it out because it actually looks so good, like, okay. And it did not break my foundation, which that was the actual thing I was testing more than anything else. So yeah, let me go and finish my face and put some blush, put some highlight, put some kind of lipstick on my lips, and I'll be right back with some final thoughts about this. So I have everything on, including my blush and highlighter, and let's talk about this sponge. Seriously, I think it's such a good sponge for like how much I paid for it. Sorry, I did a haul of a Shein haul. I don't have my phone here. I think I paid like around £1 or £2 for 3 of them. So this one is, yeah, 3 of them including this one. And seriously, oh my god, actually, why don't I show them here? So literally you get like a pack of 3, and these are the other shades I have, which are exactly the same material as this one, and that's why I only used one, obviously. And seriously, like literally, I'm so shocked how good this sponge is. I paid, I think, only £1 or £2 for the whole pack, and I was very shocked that when I go multiple times in the same place, it does not break out my foundation or, you know, the zone. Like sometimes if you overly go with your sponge in the same place, it might be the situation where the sponge drags back the product on your face. Obviously that it could be because of the foundation, maybe how the consistency of it is, but it's not like the first, like it happened with that foundation, sometimes with other sponges, like cheaper ones, or not even cheaper ones, but just not good ones, that it would drag back my foundation and it will, you know, be patchy and all that jazz. So that's not the situation with this guy. I was really surprised. I never did my contour with a sponge. I have no idea why I felt the need to do that today, but I'm not mad about it because my nose contour looks very nice. I really love it, and I think I'm gonna do my nose contour more often with a goddamn sponge. So yeah, like literally there's nothing else necessarily to, obviously I have lipstick on my teeth. There's nothing necessarily much more to mention about this sponge. I really don't mind. It's not identical to the shape of the Real Techniques one. Seriously, for me that flat part is pointless for my experience with it. But like, yeah, I never tried an original beauty blender, but anytime soon I don't think I will, because it's really expensive. But if you are into your Real Technique sponge, I think you're gonna enjoy this one too. I really do love it a lot, and I'm very excited that I found cheap sponges and I can, you know, not be like, oh my god, I need to pay another £6 for a sponge, because the Real Techniques one is not necessarily that cheap. It is cheap, but it's still £6. and this was like, I'm pretty sure 1 or 2, maybe 3, maximum £3 for free sponges, which pretty much makes £1 each. Very cheap. But yeah, by any means, I hope this video was useful and relevant to you, and it made you think whether you would buy yourself sponges from Shein or not. But I definitely do recommend them. I really do like them. They are quite very squishy, and I am always into that when it comes to a sponge. So yeah, without further ado, I hope you're gonna watch the next video, maybe subscribe. I do pretty much makeup and beauty. Check the next video and see if it's worth subscribing to my channel or not, because I upload every single week at least a video, so I'm very consistent. I will say that. Hopefully I'll see you next time.